Following the events of the previous episode of Crusade by Night, which I think has actually been deleted from YouTube, uh, uh, there is something of a mess for our dear prince to return home to. And Angelique has been busily getting the servants to clean most of this mess up. There is still one torpored body lying on the floor. The other Ventru have been placed elsewhere. And Arachard is upstairs in the room lying in state. Angelique will be picking up some of the chairs while the servants kind of scrub the floor a bit clean and sweep up the pile of ash, when presumably the prince will return home. Upstairs, yes. Everything, all the other mess is downstairs. But no, Archard has been stashed in one of the small rooms upstairs, because presumably the small ones as well as big ones.
Outside the prince's domain, there's a loud ruckus of a few carriages appearing. It can only really signify the prince's return. As slowly but surely, the prince will emerge into the domain. Things look different.
Yes. We had a few unruly visitors.
Now, how do you mean unruly visitors? You mean...
Well, that one, and she gestures to the pile of dust that is being swept up, attempted to attack me. He said if the prince was not here, the seneschal would do.
Someone was trying to assassinate me, then?
Well, assassinate suggests rather more tact and cunning than this fellow seemed to use. But yes, he was certainly attacking you and your court.
Do we know anything about him?
Apparently he had some connection to Arachard.
Is that all we know? He may have been another La Sombra?
I don't think he was. There was a mention of Ventru at some point. I find it very hard to put my finger on quite the details, but got the impression that they were not La Sombra. But Arcea was quite insistent that his abilities indicated that Arachard was behind it.
Arcea and Arachard do not tend to get on too well, though, my seneschal, as well you know.
I know. That is why he is staked and awaiting your judgment.
What? He is staked?
Arachard is staked.
How did this happen?
Well, following the accusation, he frenzied and attempted to attack the seer. At which point, given that several of the chairs had already been destroyed, I made use of a chair leg. It seemed the most expedient way to end it without either of them facing the final death.
The prince will have a look of exasperation on her face. Some of those chairs were older than some of you have even lived.
I know. And were there any other option? Well, as I said, they'd already been somewhat destroyed. So I doubt removing one of the pieces temporarily made much of a difference. Battle axes are not great for furniture.
No, I thought we'd moved past the Viking invasion of, well, France. But, oh well, I suppose I should deal with this other mess then, shouldn't I?
I am terribly sorry that you should return home to such a sorry state.
I should have. I don't know. Maybe I can't even leave my own city anymore. Well,
Well, there does seem to be ever the numerous amounts of people that will take a grasp for power when they see the opportunity. It is only fitting that they should be dealt with accordingly. And here's your gesture to the ash and to the rather chewed up Ventrue on the floor.
they may have got what they deserve, but do they have to make a mess of the marble? It takes weeks to clean.
It does. Would you like to see to our La Sombra?
I suppose I should.
And Angelique will lead the way upstairs, skirting the because I don't know why, but Nick didn't really know. Well, obviously Nick didn't really know much about the layout of the place, but kind of imagine this big set of double doors at the top of the stairs that leads into Melisandre's suite, but then probably kind of like the balcony would extend round to other smaller and less important doors.
Yeah, that works. That work.
And probably in one of these rooms that that happened to be unoccupied, but was usually used for servants or something, that we've stashed our child. And flowers have been scattered over him, and he is tucked into the bed. There's candles. It very much looks like someone has set it up so that he is resting in state rather than staked.
Why does he look like he is dead rather than just staked?
The Malkavian may have been enthusiastic about how to leave the room. I was rather more focused with sorting out downstairs as much as possible before your return.
They didn't go into my chambers themselves, did they, too much?
No, merely bringing him along to here.
Ah, good. So, what do we do with him then?
I'm not certain. After all, as you say, our seer is not known for his like of the La Sombra in question, but at the same time, can we risk having such a traitor amongst the court? We could, of course, attempt to rouse the Ventrue downstairs and see what he has to say on the matter, assuming he is in fact a Ventrue. It's really rather hard to tell once they're unconscious.
Ah, you're not as old as I, though. I'm sure my Allspecs will be able to find out what he is hiding. If he's hiding anything. But as you say, we need to deal with Arisha first. I suppose exile would be the kind of way of dealing with him.
It does remove the possibility of his bringing the court down from within, although there is the concern that he might meet up with wherever these Ventrue came from and attempt a second attack upon the city. But with so little evidence to go on, it's really quite a difficult judgment to make.
He didn't know I would. Well, had I been there, I would have probably killed him. And you, Seneschal, seem to have done a good job, so perhaps he overplayed his hand.
I hope so. I hope that he has no more cards to play on the matter.
Well, that is why I say we exile him. I'll take him. Well, I'll have him arranged to be taken to the harbour city. There he will be unstaked and left to go into the Mediterranean.
Perhaps it might be better if we suggested he relocate somewhere one of us knows can keep an eye on him.
And do you know someone who could do that?
Well, I could ask some of my associates back in France. Perhaps if we had him delivered there and unstaked there, with the strong suggestion, but not compulsion, to remain in the city, it is entirely up to him if he chooses to travel elsewhere. But they can at least let us know that he arrived there safely and that he did or did not take to the suggestion well.
Ah, you give me such a good idea, Seneschal. She'll give you a kiss on the forehead. I know. I will have him arranged to be taken to Paris.
Splendid idea.
I'm sure my contacts there will be happy to have a La Sombra under their guard. And now to the problem of the Ventrue. Ah, such a headache. Well, shall we go and deal with that one then, Seneschal?
Of course. And Angelique will hold the door for Melisandre.
Ah, thank you.
Closing it behind them as they head back down the stairs, where there is a, as I said, rather chewed Ventrue.
He is in an horrible... What the hell happened? Was Thorgrimr in here?
No, there was Lamia, a new visitor to the city with rather enthusiastic biting skills.
I do not like the idea of enthusiastic biting skills.
No. But, fortunately, I think she was merely passing through.
But she still made a mess in my court.
To be fair, the court was attacked while she happened to be here, rather than her being responsible for it. But yeah, something of a mess.
I don't exactly like half-chewed things in the middle of my floor.
No. Shall I remove him? Or have you anything else in mind?
Do we know anything about him?
Only that he decided it would be a good plan to attack the court with a battle axe. Beyond that, not a great deal.
Well then, perhaps he should meet the sun.
Shall I see to that?
If you want to, my dear Seneschal.
Well, I would hate to have you inconvenienced any more than they have already caused.
I can live with some inconveniencing, don't worry. But since you seem so keen on dealing with this, I will let you deal with it.
And Angelique will smile, and she will actually have the Ventrue taken back to her place along with the other two. Let's face it, you never know when they're going to come in handy. Aside from attempting to finish clearing up here, is there anything I can do to help you with your luggage, perhaps? Or and she'll wave at the servants, who are admittedly mostly Melisandre's servants, but some of Angelique's herd have been roped in. Well, no, not herd, but one of Angelique's ghouls is over helping clearing up. The other one is watching the venture.
Well, things you could help me with. The prince seems to get a wry smile on her face. I have been gone for some time, and I haven't fed from my usuals. If you're willing to help.
Of course, I should be honoured to. And although one thing that Melisandre might note is that there is in fact a small amount of blood on Angelique's dress. She has managed to clean most of it up, but
I'll just do a quick perception roll just to make sure she's actually paying attention.
she's probably been distracted up to this point, but as she's now probably paying attention to Angelique, I figured I'd mention it.
Yeah, she notices. Were you injured?
The seer. I helped him away from some of the attackers.
And he ruined your dress in this instance?
Not intentionally, I'm quite sure. He was injured.
Ah, ever so helpful then.
Well, if I cannot take care of the court entirely, I can at least do my best.
That is true, that is true. Do you want one of my servants to wash your... well, arrange to have your dress cleaned?
That sounds like a splendid idea.
I'm sure I can find something that you can wear in the meantime.
There'll be a small smile on Angelique's face. Because she knows quite well what they're likely to be up to in the meantime. And it doesn't involve wearing clothes.
Ah, Seneschal. I can read you like a book sometimes.
And we both know how well I like books.
Ah, yes.
Perhaps they are rubbing off on me.
We Toreador tend to rub off on each other. Speaking of which, I did get you a book.
Oh? And as much as she was already smiling, it has definitely brightened up even that little bit more. She does like books.
Ah, yes, she clicks her fingers and one of the servants who was with her brings out a rather large manuscript. It's a very rare book. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you, my prince. I am absolutely certain that I shall. And yeah, she's slightly more quickly than she might normally do, takes the book.
Ah, you're welcome. It's the least I can do for my seneschal, who has done such a good job since I've been away.
And she will very much look torn between looking at the book and nodding her appreciation for the compliment. Because let's face it, books are pretty.
Well then, seneschal, is there any other business I need to know?
Not that I'm aware of. We had visitors. They were here when we were attacked. We dealt with the attack. There is the La Sombra, the Ventru. No, I believe that was everything.
Ah, good. Now, I suppose I should give you a choice. Do you wish for me to... Well, I suppose you kind of need your dress cleaned, don't you?
Yes, that does seem like a good idea, she says, clearly with slight reluctance as she sets the book down carefully on one of the tables that is away from the mess.
Ah, bring it upstairs. It's not going to go anywhere.
And she'll bring the book with her as they head upstairs and make sure that Angelique's dress gets cleaned. That is definitely why it needs to be taken off. Out of interest, what was the book?
Something slightly more on the risque for the medieval period.
Yeah, I thought so.
Ah, the prince has a sense of humour.
Yep. And a reason to want her slightly more corrupted. Yes, I think there will probably... Have we covered everything?
I think so.
Yep. So there the scene will end.